What is up, everyone, and welcome to the Real Ones Canes podcast. The man who was sitting next to me with that sexy bald head. It's a much sexier bald head than mine. That is Cam Underwood. He's a managing editor at State of the U. Please go check out StateofTheU.com. It is the best place for all your Miami Hurricanes coverage. And you can follow Cam on the Twitter at Underwood Sports. I'm Brian the Beast London. You can follow me at Miami Radio Beast. Now, this show is going to purposely avoid the topic of our Miami Hurricanes at the Combine.
What?
We will do a recap show of that once the Combine is over. I know there's already people talking about Ruben Bain's arm length, and I saw all sorts of NFL experts weighing in today. This is Thursday afternoon about he's gonna fall like a rock. His arms, but T-Rex. We'll get into all that next week.
I will also just throw out there, Adam Schefter said arm lengths are actually, basically they don't trust everybody who measures them, and there were several teams that had him with longer arms than what they officially listed. So, hey, it is what it is. But I don't care about the arm length. Turn on the film, look at the guy dominate. And if y'all want to let him fall to 17 to my Lions, I'm cool with it. Thanks.
Yeah, I saw every fan from every team was like, good, he's terrible. Let him fall to like number 12, 11, whatever it is.
All the way to 17. Go to the Motor City. Put him on the other side of Aiden Hutchinson. Let's eat.
We will get to all of that next week. We'll have plenty of talk about the Combine and the Miami Hurricanes that are moving on to the next level. So we will dive in with the breaking news. Actually, just broke a couple hours ago. It's not official yet. We are recording this at just after 5 p.m. Thursday, February 26th. And as of right now, the speculation and kind of all of the reports are saying that the Miami Hurricanes have found themselves a running backs coach. And his name is Favian Upshaw, I believe. He is a kid from Titusville, Florida. He went to Astronaut High School. He was then recruited to play at FIU by Mario Cristobal.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Yes. He did not finish his college career at FIU. He finished his college career at Georgia Southern. He was a GA at Georgia Southern. He coached at Tulane. He coached at Georgia Southern. He's now a quality control coach with the offense for the Denver Broncos. From what I've been reading from all the Broncos beat writers is he is really up and coming as an offensive-minded coach. And here's another thing that I love about this probable hire, unless everybody is wrong, is that no one had this kid on any of the lists as far as who would be the running backs coach. So I love it. It's just awesome. I don't know a lot about him, Cam. I'm going to be honest with the audience. Like, I don't know a ton about Favian Upshaw, but everything I've read in the last 2 hours is pretty positive about his coaching style. I don't know about his ability to recruit, but I know from what I've read, this kid can coach some running backs.
Yeah, and he's spent the last 3 years working with the running backs position with the Broncos, and they've done very well, there, and helped, guys into 1,000-yard plus seasons at the NFL level and whatnot. He did apply for the wide receivers coach position. They went elsewhere. And so he's just, continuing his journey. I love getting an up-and-coming coach, for a position coach and everything. I think that, he has coached at the highest level. Now, he was not the position coach solo, but, working with one of the 32 organizations in the NFL, working with the position that has played well for them and everything. Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. And, this is why I said, there are known names that we could go after, but you're going to get people from around the world of football who want to be here, and a young up-and-coming coach, and you catch him on what you hope is the upslope of his coaching career. And then, look, this is a guy who was recruited by Mario, so he was on the receiving end of the Mario Cristobal recruiting, methodology, even though it was back when he was at FIU, and it has definitely improved, over time since then. But yeah, I would think that, he's in for it. He's a young guy, and like a lot of that travel and a lot of that grinding is like a young man's game. So you love seeing that. Being younger, I would hope, just narratively in my head, the thing that I was ideating is like relatability. You know what I mean? Like, sure, you could go get an older, more established coach, and then you're relying on different things to connect with the players. But a guy who's a little bit younger can, he's played in college more recently and can connect with the kids, and hopefully that'll be positive in recruiting. But yeah, from all the accounts that I've read and seen, like, this is a guy who is definitely a name to know for the future of coaching in the world of football, at whatever level he chooses. So yeah, getting this Upshaw guy as the running backs coach, again, was off of the radar per se of like the biggest known names, but I'm completely fine with it. And we still have other coaches to add to the staff as well.
I kind of just want to talk through something with you, which is a couple of things. Back in my day, which was a long time ago when I had hair, the running backs coach was usually someone that wasn't necessarily that tied into X's and O's. A lot of time they had a running backs coach that would be like a big time recruiter. It was kind of a position. I'm not saying specifically for Miami, but just generally in college football. Mm-hmm. You would kind of like, because you could only have 9 assistants. So you would pick and choose, like, who are your guys that are tuned into just X's and O's? Like, they're the nerds, they're the football nerds. And who are the guys that are like, we're going to send to go be the recruiting guys. And a running backs coach was kind of a guy that you could do that with. Now, you've expanded the ability for people to be able to recruit on the staff. You can have non-field coaches go recruit if they're designated as such by the NCAA. So you're not as limited as you once were. So now you can play around a little bit. Are you concerned at all about Favian Upshaw's ability to recruit? Does it matter? Is it something that's as important as it was in years past? What are your thoughts as it relates to this? I call him a kid because I'm coming up on 50 and he's certainly 20 years younger than me. Right. So that's why I'm saying kid, but this coach, are you worried about that?
I'm not worried about it. It's a thing that I need to see. However, I mean, it's the same thing like with Matt Merritt. I was not familiar with his game in terms of recruiting either. I knew that he could coach running backs, but like, I need to be able to see that. And recruiting is integral to the success of this program at every position and every position group. So we talked about last year and even coming back into this year with retaining everybody and then only adding through recruiting with Javian Mallory, right? One of the best, if not the best running back rooms in America. You are coming in and like, we're handing you the keys to a Ferrari. Cool, go. You need to maintain that. So it's not as though he has failed, but he's also not necessarily been successful at it to this level. So it's a thing that I'm watching. I'm not perilously concerned though, but like, I do need to see it. And I'm hopeful with the guidance of the staff around him and people who have recruited well and at a high level. Go talk to Stephen Field, the executive director of recruiting, former tight ends coach, former recruiting staffer at Louisville and Oregon.
Yep.
Yo, this is a guy who is on the list of the 10, 15 best recruiters in America, who's in the building with you. You know what I mean? So like, you're going to go and put your own special sauce on it, but like, I need you to kind of plug into the system and learn a little bit. So it's a thing that I'll be watching, but I'm not too deathly afraid of it, especially with the amount of talent that we have and the fact that the program, honestly, at this point, almost kind of sells itself because we're going to have a good quarterback. We're going to have an elite offensive line who doesn't want to come and play running back here. But you still got to go get those guys.
So just one more on this topic, and then we'll move on, which is you mentioned that Miami has a Ferrari as far as the room of running backs, the fleet of running backs that they can roll out there because you only added to the mix of running backs because they all came back. But that includes one of the top returning players in college football in Mark Fletcher. Yep. There's no argument. I wouldn't even say arguably he is among the top returning players in college football. Is it surprising to you that Mario goes with a guy that, yes, he has experience, but it's not like he's coached running backs at a Power 4 school or, has a proven success at the highest levels of college football. Does that worry you at all?
Nope, I'm not concerned. Mario is categorical with his interview prep process and things like people have talked about being in the facility for, 8, 12, 14 hours in the interview process. Like, he is very meticulous on everything from X's and O's to recruiting to culture fit to just everything. So if we're going to say that he is the most or one of the most detail-oriented interviewing coaches in America, right? You can't all of a sudden throw that out and say, well, this is a guy whose name we didn't necessarily know because I'm not a Broncos fan. So now I'm going to question it. Like, I'm in for the whole operation as it has been. So this is just another point with that. And I think in a couple of years, we're going to look down the line and be like, oh, it's another good hire. So, yeah, I'm perfectly fine with it.
All right. So we'll see. It has not been announced by the school yet. And we still are looking for a couple of other coaches, tight ends and cornerbacks. So we will see what happens when this is released. Yes. Okay, secondary. Is that where
no, it is cornerbacks, but I was just thinking, you could technically have Will Harris coach both, and then
right, yeah, yes,
whatever. So you could reallocate.
Sorry,
yeah. But basically, those are the positions that were vacated. But yes, got it. That's okay. Sorry, yeah, that's me.
No worries. Moving along.
Yes.
It looks like spring practice is going to start March 24th.
Yep.
I about a week ago, if not 10 days ago, I saw a schedule of spring practice that I believe was sent to like recruits or other high school coaches, maybe. And so, but at the time, I didn't feel comfortable being like, oh, let me go spread the news about, because, it has not been confirmed by UM. They have not put out the schedule yet, at least in my inbox. But at this point, I might be the last to know. So we'll see. But it looks like March 24th will be the first day of spring practice, which is, I think, about 10 days after spring break ends. Yep. So plenty of time for everybody to be back on campus and be ready to roll for spring practice. So I'm excited about that. And we will try to bring the fans as much as we can on spring practice. Anything that is open, and definitely the spring game, I will try to get down there and watch for myself.
Yeah.
That is for sure. And on the football front, I found out something that I didn't think I would ever find out. Something occurred that I never thought I would see. Okay. Kind of like a unicorn appeared out of a rainbow. It was craziness.
All right.
I saw Mario Cristobal up on a stage with jokes. And he was throwing one-liners at Kirby Smart.
And a Cheshire Cat smile too, yeah.
Yeah.
Good times.
I was like, where's this Mario been?
I mean, look, hey, it is what it is. It's funny because people in the guise of my various professional roles have kind of said the same thing of like, you're always so serious, and then like, we get off the clock and I'm like, all right, we're gonna whatever, and it's just like, yo, what? I'm like, we got a job to do, man. Like, this is not joke time, and I just think that the same thing with Mario. And yet, look, Kirby Smart gave as good as he got. He was the first one up on the microphone. I thought it was interesting that the first thing that came out was Mean Mario taking shots and talking shit was the first thing that was put on social media, and like abusing Kirby Smart. And he was just sitting there good. And I'm like, that he was on that stage already. Like, he was up there first, was Kirby. But hey, it is what it is. It was a good time. I thought Kirby got some good shots in there also. I think that overall, I would give it a 10-9 round to Mario in terms of the jokes. But hey, it was an enjoyable kind of a situation.
So just in case you've been on vacation in Budapest or somewhere, although I wouldn't go to Budapest these days. They've got some stuff going on in Hungary. But if you were out of the country and you missed this, it was an event, the Steve Spurrier event that's up in Gainesville every year. Malachai Toney was honored as being the freshman of the year, and Mario was honored, and Kirby Smart was honored. A bunch of people were being honored, and Kirby Smart got up there first. And dare I say, I believe his jokes were written for him. Or at least his jokes were written possibly for him. Maybe by him, but maybe for him. Okay. Regardless, it seemed like it was prepared. Mario, on the other hand, got up there, and I think Mario pretty much went off the cuff. I mean, he may have gotten some insight, he may have gotten some advice, but I think Mario was just like, all right, if this is what it's going to be, here we go. I'm going to let it roll. And did. I also found the Carson Beck fodder to be pretty funny. Kirby Smart was like, made it seem like that Carson Beck quit them, when not necessarily sure that Carson Beck was wanted back in Athens.
I'm very sure that he was not wanted back from everything that they said and did, but whatever.
Correct. And then Mario took the shot as, hey, look what Carson Beck can do when he's actually coached well.
Hello. My favorite moment was actually not a joke between Kirby and Mario. It was a Kirby Smart moment also, by the way, was my favorite moment. I forget which joke he said, but he said a joke about, Miami and Mario and whatever. And he's looking around and he sees people laughing. And it was a moment from the middle school cafeteria with the hand, and y'all know the hand, when all of a sudden somebody on the periphery is up on the Summer Jam screen. I know you ain't laughing. And that moment happened with John Sumrall. And Kirby Smart was there, and he looked around, he said, whoa, hey, Coach Sumrall, you're laughing kind of hard over there, buddy. And I was just like, man, it rarely happened to me because I'm usually quick with the word. But the couple of times that it does, when all of a sudden that spotlight shines on you with the hand, man, you get that the stomach, or the heart drops into the pit of your stomach. You get that cold sweat down your back, because it's like, ha, or you're making fun of somebody else, and all of a sudden that hand comes out. And I know you ain't laughing. And no, we're all good. So that moment did happen with John Sumrall, and I thought that was really, really hilarious.
By the way, it took me about 5 seconds before I remembered who John Sumrall was, because it's like, oh, the Gators have another coach.
Exactly, that dude. Who are we even talking about? Yeah, because Miami and Georgia, they're two rivals. Well, two of the rivals, but they're chumps, and they've taken us off the schedule multiple times, including now. Because they're scared of losing to us again repeatedly. But yeah, who would even know? And he's over there like, Georgia and Miami making fun of each other. Ha 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 ha! This is great for us. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. And then, boy, it got real quiet over that area of the seats.
I like it. All right, one more thing on football before we take a break. Yes. I mentioned Malachai Toney was honored at that event. Speaking of Malachai Toney, if you bought your number 10 Malachai Toney jersey, it's going to need to be replaced. Now,
pourquoi?
I'm very lucky because, and I'll tell people why it needs to be replaced in a moment, but I walked into Caneswear about 2 weeks ago, and I was just browsing around, and I was like, hey, where can I get my Malachai Toney jersey? I didn't get one earlier in the year, but I want to get one now. And they were like, oh man, we're sold out. We're waiting for a new batch to come in. I was like, okay, I guess I'll come back. Then all of a sudden we're a little bit later, and Malachai Toney changed his number to number 1. So he is numero uno. So go get your new and improved Malachai Toney jersey with number 1 on the back.
Yeah, he's rocking the stick. Bryce Fitzgerald apparently is changed to number 3 from 13 on defense, taking over the number formerly worn by Akeem Mesidor. And there'll be, several other changes of that ilk. Yeah. But yeah, if you were like, okay, cool, this number 10 is going to last me all the way through. Now, I was of the thought, like, maybe he would just stick with it. Like, it's kind of, Tony 10, like it was just a thing. But, he wanted to stick. And also, it opens up now the number 10 jersey for who? Your quarterback in mind, Darian Mensah, who's always worn number 10 at every school he's played for. So it all goes together. I get the stick.
What's an interesting thing now about number changes and all that stuff? Hey, these guys are making bank now. Is this gonna start to be an NFL locker room when someone new comes in and has to basically bribe another dude to get his jersey number?
It's always
is this what's going to happen?
It's always been that, but just usually they don't give them up.
No, but now it could be out in the open. Like now we can have some serious negotiations.
Money in the past, so like there was.
Well,
yes,
but we never heard about the actual amounts. But like now we can, we can actually we can get into this as a story. Like hey Malachai, or whatever. Darian, did you have to give Malachai some money for that number 10, or what happened there?
I mean it could be that. I don't know that it is in this specific instance, but looking in the larger scenario, it definitely could be. But yeah, I think everybody's happy now. Toney gets the back to the one jersey, and then Darian Mensick gets to have his customary number 10, and everything. We move on. So happy about that.
I would just like to listen. I know that we threw number rules out a long time ago as far as who can wear what number, but I can't get used to defensive linemen wearing single digits. I'm sorry.
Oh, I mean that's. I don't know. Build a bridge and get over it. That's been a thing for a good long time. I know. I know. I'm a traditionalist in some ways, not necessarily the number nomenclature kind of a way, but yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
That's getting that off my chest. All right, we're going to take a break. On the other side, I want to get into baseball and basketball real quick. We will do that after this. You're listening and watching the Real Ones Canes podcast. Welcome back to the Real Ones Canes podcast. He is Cam Underwood, managing editor, State of the U. Follow him on Twitter at Underwood Sports. I'm Brian the Beast London. You can follow me at Miami Radio Beast. Before we jump into the hardball and the basketball, let's talk about StateofTheU.com, Cam, because it is the best place to get all your Miami Hurricanes coverage. And the best thing about it is it's open 24/7, 365, and it is free. There's nothing better than StateofTheU.com. What is going on at SOTU these days?
Yeah, man. We are continuing with the State of the U Awards, and you see a big smile and some daps going up because the State of the U Award for the Game of the Year just published, and that Game of the Year was the quarterfinal against Ohio State. You're darn right. So we had that bracketology.
Definitely by the way, that's definitely the most cathartic Game of the Year.
Oh my God, of course, yeah. Bracketology AMA from the SB Nation homepage, because we're at the bitter end of the basketball season, which we're going to talk about in a second. Jake Marcus wrote about the Bain and Maui Noah going into the first round, potentially top 10, top 5, depending on how things break. There, I did an AMA kind of a thing with right here, which was cross-posted on SB Nation NFL websites, where players or people asked about Miami players and how they might fit into their NFL teams moving forward. Wild night in Coral Gables last week. Got to read about that. Talking about potential depth on the offensive line through the portal in the future. And plenty more. I know that you can see these other things in front of you, and you see all those things and more, StateofTheU.com. Please come fan with us. Thanks so much.
Yeah, got to go check out StateofTheU.com. Let's talk about Wild Night in the Gables. Not in the Gables, in Boca last night. As Miami beat FAU in baseball. The Hurricanes continue to be undefeated in baseball. They continue to put up ridiculous amount of runs, but it took some gargantuan late inning, and did it go into extras?
No, it was 9. We scored.
It was 9. Okay, yeah, I got leery because it was getting late, and I started to fade, especially when I saw they were down. And you know how I feel about losing midweek games. I was about to throw my phone several different times, but they ended up winning last night and scored a bunch of runs late and beat FAU and have the Gator this weekend in town. The Gators are ranked number 10, but the Miami Hurricanes baseball team is off to a hot start. Those bats are hot metal. Striking the baseball, and we'll see how they do against a ranked bona fide opponent this weekend.
Yeah, and I want to see how they're able to just continue the offense. Really, there's some issues with the defense and some control issues at times with a couple of the pitchers, specifically. But I mean, this team is really built intentionally, or the intent was, we want to hear that pinging all the time. We want to just mash. And then when we have a lead, that lessens the leverage a little bit on the pitchers and the defense. So it gives them a little bit of wiggle room. So there's been some early game struggles against better pitching competition this year. We've been able to come back in these games, including last night in Boca, scoring 7 in the top of the 9th to go from down 2 to up 5 or up 4, whatever it was. But yeah, I want to see what we're able to do against the Gator. I don't have high expectations and hopes because I've had high expectations and hopes when we face UF in baseball many a time. I was in one of my group chats earlier saying basically my expectation is that Miami loses the Friday and Saturday games and then wins the Sunday game to save face. And then afterwards, people are going to say, oh, well, it was a 2-1 series and it was close and we could have after getting our doors blown off and faces bashed in for 2 games. So that's my expectation. And I know that that's, based entirely upon the history of it being that way at best. So, we will see, but there are some great players. The freshman Dubovik kid hitting like 937 through his first couple of weeks. Daniel Cuvée tied for the nation's lead with 6 home runs already. I mean, this team can rake. So, Derek Williams in right field also. Plenty of great hitters. So we need to bring it.
What's interesting is the Miami Gators series. I don't know what the record is off the top of my head, but it's literally tied. It's like however many wins are the same, however many losses are the same, and ties are the same. So it's literally tied overall in the history of the 2 programs playing each other in baseball. So, listen, the Gators have been a better program for a while now, I would say. Miami's been a better program in the history of its program. Mm-hmm. But if we're talking about the here and now, Miami has some ground to catch up on the Gators when it comes to baseball. Mm-hmm. So we will see what happens this weekend. When I think about the great Miami Hurricanes teams, at least when I was in school and after, through the, 2000s a little bit, I think about teams that could knock the bleep out of the baseball, score a bunch of runs. And pitching was, you would get good timely pitching. You would get, you would have especially a closer that could come in, whether, I'm going to go back with Danny Graves and Jay Tesmer, but, as more recently, Brian Garcia, comes in and who's the all-time career saves leader and does great things, when you need good pitching. College baseball is tough when it comes to pitching. It's tougher to find pitchers that can hit the plate consistently in college baseball. So we'll see what happens this weekend. I have my expectations rather low as to what will happen this weekend, but we'll give it the old college try. We'll go out there and give it our best. Let's talk about basketball for a moment before we get out of here. The basketball team got a much needed win against Florida State. They had to avenge that early season loss to the Seminoles, which was the worst loss of the year, without a doubt. I think if they did not lose that game, they would be higher in all of the bracketologies. Oh yeah. I think right now they're projected to be possibly an 8th seed. In that 8-9 game. I saw them out west, I think in San Diego, someplace like that, in a couple of different brackets. The interesting thing is what's going to happen as far as their ACC tournament. And if they get buys and all that stuff, because right now they're 4th in the conference, but they got 3 games left, and they got the win against Florida State. But they play BC, Louisville, SMU. I don't know what order that's in. So,
SMU and Louisville.
Forgive me for getting that out of order, but they got to beat BC because they're terrible, and SMU and Louisville are good teams, especially Louisville. So if you can win both of those, amazing. You got to win one of those 2, I think. So you need to win 2 of the next 3.
Yeah, you have to split SMU Louisville at a minimum. You just have to. And then, depending on how things – and I'm taking Boston College as an obligatory win. You just have to win that one also. So, 2 out of 3.
You might as well – I'm going to put my head through several appliances if they don't win.
Oh, yeah, you cannot lose that game. Come hell or high water. So, if you finish top 4 in the ACC regular season, then you get a double bye in the tournament. So that's, as in 1 round bye, 2nd round bye, all the way to the quarterfinals for those top 4 teams. So you want to try to stay up there. so you get the double bye and not just the single bye. And I know that, we're going to be fighting for that ACC basketball standings. I should have looked this up when you were talking earlier. But as we stand right now, and the ACC website now wants to...
I think we're just ahead of North Carolina.
North Carolina, Clemson, and NC State, all at 10-5 in the league. We're 11-4. Duke is 14-1, and Virginia's 13-2. So that Virginia loss hurts. That would have been a really big win. But... yeah, and then SMU is only 8-7 in the league, but 19-9 overall. And Boston College is terrible. I'm not going to look at what they are. And Louisville's 9-6 in the league and 20-8 overall. So, I'm not going to sit here and compute all of this right now, but like there is a very clear path with 2 wins to get to 13 wins in regular season. There's a very clear path to a double bye, but we have to make it happen.
By the way, I believe the stat is correct. That Jay Lucas in his first year has already gotten Miami to the 4th most regular season wins they've ever had as a program, which is ever. Yes. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. So that ever. Yes. That means ever. So that, listen, I can't wait to see what they do. I don't know how this team, I'm not sure this team is built depth-wise for a big postseason run because their depth is lacking. Mm-hmm. And if one guy gets hurt or, who knows what happens, the wheels might come off. But, I could not be more impressed and delighted about the beginning of the Jay Lucas era. And let's hope that it's more than a year or 2.
Yeah, absolutely. We need the stars to be stars. We need guys not to be in foul trouble, especially like, Renew and Uday up front, because, if those guys, then you're going to go to who maybe bump Sheldon down from the 3 to the 4 and Tuntis, who is almost unplayable at this point. Like he needs another mango season, and that's okay. Sam Wardenberg wasn't playable until his 3rd or 4th year. So like, they're different players. I'm just talking about the chronology of like, you need a little bit of development time before you're relied upon in a big moment. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see as we move forward. But yeah, the team is playing hard. They're playing really well. Need to limit the turnovers and make your free throws. If you do those things with everything else that we are doing, I think that we're going to be okay. But yeah, I think the goal definitely is at least, 2 out of the next 3 to close out the regular season. And then you got to win at least 1 in the ACC tournament, whether it's off of a single bye or a double bye. You have to win a game there. And you do that, then I do think that we're going dancing in March Madness. I know people would think, well, right now at 22-6, we should be in firmly, and we've beaten da-da-da-da. Trust me, we beat up on a lot of lower quadrant teams, a lot of quad 2, 3, 4 teams.
Yeah, so
if you
go look at the RPI, and there's something like 33rd or something like that in the RPI. If you go look at how they calculate stuff, it's these quad 1, quad 2, quad 3, quad 4 wins, and Miami is under 500 in quad 1 wins. I think they're 1-4 in quad 1 wins, and it's something I never even heard of more than 2 years ago. But suddenly they changed the methodology a little bit. Yeah, they changed the methodology. So, so you're supposed to, if you really want a chance to be a top seed or a higher seed in the tournament, you have to win those quad 1 games, and they didn't do that this year. So
yeah, but then you have 2 of them coming up with SMU and Louisville. So these are other opportunities to show improve the standing. So that's where we stand. We got to win this game against Boston College, and then go out next week and then make things happen against SMU and Louisville to wrap up the regular season. And so that wraps that, and I think that wraps this.
Yeah, we will do a full breakdown and recap of the Miami Hurricanes at the Combine next week. Also, we've got some big picture NCAA stuff to talk about. You can't poach players out of the portal, and some rules that are in effect, and and all sorts of stuff going on. Oh gosh, if you do that, you're basically like sent to Mongolia, something like that. Like your head coach has to go, try to find his way to Genghis Khan's birthplace or something if you do anything out of the portal. Anyways, we'll discuss that and the combine and everything else next week for you. So stay tuned for it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe. Please share. Please like. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Tell everyone you know about the Real Ones Canes podcast. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you next time right here on the Real Ones Canes podcast. Peace.